If you have wrist pain that's caused by carpal tunnel syndrome, I've got 3 simple stretches and exercises that you can do from home to help decrease the pain and help relieve the pressure within your wrist and hand. So stick with me. Hey, this is Coach Todd with feelgoodlife.com, where we teach people over 50 how to get healthy, pain-free joints. And a lot of people, especially over 50, start to have pain, tingling, and numbness down their wrist and into their hand. And it's often caused by carpal tunnel syndrome. So really, carpal tunnel syndrome is an impingement or pinching of a nerve that travels from your neck through your shoulder, down your arm, and into the first, second, third, and part of your fourth finger. And you'll often have pain in your wrist, or the carpals, which are the bones within your wrist, or tingling or numbness within the palm part of your hand. And there's 2 really important aspects to relieving carpal tunnel syndrome. And the first is to focus on your wrist and your hand, where the pain actually is. The second part, which I'm going to be showing you in the next video in this series, is to relieve pressure within your neck and shoulder. So that's where the start of the pain often occurs. And if you just focus on your wrist and your hand, you can get rid of the pain for a little bit, but then the pain's going to come back, and then you might get rid of it for a little bit, and then it's just this endless cycle of carpal tunnel syndrome pain. So I've got these 3 exercises and stretches that you can do from home. They're gentle, they're very effective to help relieve the pain in your wrist and in your hand. Before we jump into the exercises, I want to help you understand if you actually have carpal tunnel syndrome. And there's a simple test that you can do called the inverted prayer test. So this is what it looks like. You're going to put your hands and your wrists together like this. Now try your best. You might not have that flexibility to bring your wrists all the way together, but you can try to get it as far as you can. And what you're going to do is press your wrist or the backs of your hands together. And it doesn't need to be a lot of pressure. It can just be a little bit of pressure. But what that does is it creates tension and pressure inside where the median nerve runs through. So you'll start to feel tingling and maybe some discomfort that runs down either your wrist and into your palm and into those first, second, third, and part of your fourth finger. So if you have that tingling, the pain, the numbness in those areas, then it's likely that you've got carpal tunnel syndrome, and these 3 exercises will help a lot. The first stretch that can help relieve carpal tunnel syndrome is the wrist extension stretch. So this is what it looks like. You're going to place your arm out like this and place your opposite hand. So say this is my right hand. Say I've got carpal tunnel syndrome in my wrist and in my right hand. I'm going to place my left hand over the palm of my right hand, but there's a key. You want to make sure to extend those fingers over that thumb. Remember, the median nerves goes through into the thumb and into these 3 fingers. So if you just pull these fingers back and release this, you're not getting the entire median nerve and the flexor compartment of your forearm and into your wrist. So place those fingers over that thumb and fingers, and you just gently extend out. So this is what it looks like from the side. See how I've got my thumb pulled back with these fingers. You don't need to lift your arm up high. You can gently place it down by your knee. The important part is to bring that wrist back, extending it out. It doesn't need to be all the way back like this. Once you start to feel a stretch in the inner part of your forearm, that's enough. You want to hold it for 30 seconds. You can do this by while you're watching TV, really any time. You want to do it for 3 times, three total reps. So hold that stretch for 30 seconds, release for 5 to 10 seconds, and then extend out again, release, and then do it one more time. And one simple trick here is a lot of people, when they're stretching their arms, they like to bring their shoulders up by their ears. You don't want to do that, especially, remember, the median nerves comes through the neck. So you could be stretching out that wrist and causing more tension in your shoulders and neck. So just relax the shoulders as you flex, or as you stretch that flexor compartment inside your wrist. So that's the first stretch, the wrist extension stretch. Again, 30 seconds, 3 times total. The next stretch to relieve carpal tunnel syndrome are called median nerve glides. And these are a fantastic mobility stretch for the wrist and the hand. So this is what it looks like. There's 5 parts. You're going to place your hand into a fist and then extend the fingers up, extend the fingers back, and then your thumb is going to come out. And then with the other hand, you're just going to gently pull on that thumb a little bit further. You're not yanking on it. It's just a gentle tug. So again, 5 positions: fist, fingers out, fingers back, thumb pulls out, and then you gently pull on that. Now I'm only rotating my wrist just to show you. This is what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll do it from this angle. Go ahead and try it with me if you're not doing it already. Wrist, or fist rather, fingers, back, thumb, and gentle tug. You're going to do this 10 times. So this is a mobility stretch and exercise. It feels really good. And it helps that median nerve glide and loosen up all the carpals in the wrist, and stretches out the flexors of your forearm, just like this. So again, you can do that 10 times. And again, you're not stopping at each one. It's just a gentle, you're not stopping and just holding it. It's you go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and the next. So you're going to do that 10 times total. It takes about 5 to 6 seconds for each rep. All right, the last stretch or exercise is actually called tennis ball squeezes. Now, a lot of people, unless you're a tennis player, you might not have a tennis ball, and that's perfectly fine. You can use replacement objects. We actually are traveling full-time with our 4 little kids around the country in this RV, and we don't have a tennis ball. So you can always find replacements for pretty much any exercise. So for this demonstration, here I have a water bottle, and that is perfectly fine. It's an isometric exercise. So isometric means you're strengthening the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments within that body part without actually moving. So what you're going to do is take your tennis ball or your water bottle and get a gentle grip at first, and then squeeze that water bottle or tennis ball. You're going to hold it for about 5 seconds. Now you don't need to ream on it or give 100% tension. You can go about 50 to 60% tension and then release. Especially if you've got pain caused by carpal tunnel syndrome, you can give it maybe a 30 to 40% strength or tension and then release. And then you do it again. You're going to do it 10 times total, so about 50 seconds. Squeeze for 5 seconds and then release for 1 to 2 seconds. Squeeze again, release, squeeze again, and release. So that's tennis ball squeezes. And what happens is you'll start to strengthen the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons all through your hand, wrist, and forearm. So that helps create greater strength and mobility and improve the overall health within the area where that median nerve is impinged. So we've got the first exercise or stretch, which is creating more flexibility and elongation within the tendons and the muscles and ligaments within the wrist. And then we've got a mobility exercise or stretch to create more mobility and free movement within the carpals of the wrist. And then the last one is a strength exercise. So it's really a 3-pronged approach to solving carpal tunnel syndrome and giving you more relief within your wrist and your hand. So thanks for joining me. I'm Coach Todd with feelgoodlife.com. Those are 3 stretches and exercises that you can do for carpal tunnel syndrome, but we're not going to leave you here. We've got a free download. You don't even need to put in your email address. You'll see the link under this video. It's a 4-week guide that you can print off. You could have it on your computer, and it's gonna guide you through these exercises and stretches to give you greater relief. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you get alerted every time we release a new video where we help people over 50 defeat joint pain. So again, I'm Coach Todd with feelgoodlife.com, and thanks so much for joining me for this carpal tunnel syndrome relief video.